Okay, so moving on, we need to actually make this CG a bit less perfect um, because it's a little bit just too sharp and clean right now. So if we're looking at it, let me just disable my chromatic aberration because I've just done this. Okay, so if we disable it, what we need to do is actually if we zoom in and we look at this defocused area, something you'll notice is that this footage has what's called chromatic aberration, and it's pretty much in a lot of footages. Cheaper lenses have more of it. Um, Even expensive lenses have it. I mean, this is an expensive lens that this was shot on, but it still has some chromatic aberration. So we need to match it. What is chromatic aberration? What am I talking about? It's on the edges of everything. Sometimes it happens more on the side of frames, but in our case, it's kind of happening everywhere. And what it is you'll notice this kind of like teal green and magenta on the edges of everything. And it's just the way the light is bending through the lens. It's not perfectly bending in the same way. The frequency of the different colors are not bending in the same way, or it's based on the curvature of the lens as well. So what you get are these imperfections of color. So if you, like for example, if you look at these highlights, you see how we're getting a green fringe on the edge, and you're getting kind of a purple fringe on some of the edge of these ones. So we're getting green and purple. That's the color of our chromatic aberration. And sometimes chromatic aberration can be different colors. It can be a bit of blue, it can be a bit of red. But in our case, we're definitely getting, you know, a very clear kind of green edge and purple edge. So there's a couple different ways to do this, but I'm just going to re-explain this concept real quick. If we remember that our image is made of red, green, and blue, and when we add them together, we get our color image. The easiest way to create this chromatic aberration effect is kind of to shift one of the channels off a little bit. So for example, if I take the red channel and I move it just a little bit, and now I look at the result, this actually starts to look like, almost like a 3D effect of an IMAX, so you see the red is splitting off, so we're getting this red-blue effect. And that's kind of what's happening in the lens, is like the some of the channels, the red, green, and blue light is not lining up perfectly. So you're getting this weird edge. So if we shift the red channel, which happens to be this, I'm just showing this as an example. All I've done was shuffle out the red by itself, the green by itself, and the blue by itself. And I'm just plussing them together. So that's how you can create this, to test this out if you're curious. But okay, so like let's say we take the green channel. So what's the opposite of green? The opposite of green in an additive model like this is purple. So if I shift the green channel a little bit by moving it, we're going to get a green-purple effect, which again, that's what we're talking about. We had a green edge and a bit of a purple edge. Now we don't want that much, but I'm just showing you to make it visible. So that's one way we can do it. We can shift one of the channels. The other way we can do it is we can blur one of the channels. So if I just blur only the green channel, if I blur it, you'll start to see, again, a similar effect, but not quite the same. Okay, so that's one way to also get a similar effect. And the last way to do it would be to slightly scale up that channel. So if I scale it, it's going to give us, again, a similar effect. So we can see we get that green purple. So that's how you do it with like shuffling it and all out, but you don't actually have to break them all up into layers like this. So there's a node that's called transform masked. And basically what it is it's the exact same as a normal transform node, except that it has this box right here. And that box allows us to select RGB, and then it gives you these three little boxes. So you can shift those channels individually around. And that's all we have to do. So what I've done here is I've just taken our car layer, and this is a very subtle effect, by the way, guys, so don't overdo it. Noob mistake, you're gonna overdo it, and then it's gonna look CG as hell if you put tons of chromatic aberration on everything. It's all these subtle effects is what makes it good. Some stylized movies and stuff like that, maybe you'll want to like push it a little bit further. And sometimes you'll see in like animated films or stuff like that, they'll do this effect intentionally, like a lot. So this is how you do it. But in realistic, what we're going for, we want to keep it subtle. So okay, what I've done is created this transform masked. That's the node, and I've checked only the green box because again, we only want green and purple to appear. And then what I've done is I've just shifted the green channel to the left by half of a pixel, and that's creating that effect. And maybe even we could shift to half a pixel down if you wanted, but if you do that, you might blur your image a little bit too much. So I'm going to leave it just how it was because I think it's good. Okay, that's it. You've created chromatic aberration. And what we want to do as well with that is apply it to all of our layers. So I've just copied that, pasted it on every CG layer, and that gives us just a little bit of that more realism. So if you look at this front tire here, it's starting to really blend into this area. You see we've got that purple fringe and green fringe, and that's really what our plate is doing. So it's starting to look pretty good with that. Cool, so we'll move on next to just kind of cleaning up and starting to match our grain as well.